Hi, my name's Danielle and I'm an independent Kaszazz consultant in Tassie, and I'd like to share with you a few things about our Bellish Ezy-Press. This is our Ezy-Press. It's an A4 size die cutting machine. It comes with our pads that I use for our cutting and embossing. I've done a video, a basic overview video, so you can check that out and see what the different pads are used for. So basically our machine can lock into place, and we have plates that slide out front and back, and carry handle and a handle on the end, which is nice and easy to use. And along the front here are our basic instructions of our pad combinations, so an easy quick reference. And there are lots and lots of things you can do with it, so come and join me for a project. This is the card I'm going to demonstrate for you today. This is a card using the thick paper die and making Shrinky Dink cards, and using the Rollagraph to create the background. So we need to start with our base pad A. Then we're going to use our little car die. So this is a thick paper die, so we need to use pad D with it. And I'm going to get my Shrinky Dink. Well, here's our Shrinky Dink. So it's got smooth on one side and rough on the other side. I'm going to put it smooth side down onto my die, because the smooth side is going to be the way that I want it to be. And underneath I'm going to add some shims. So this is 3 shims of just A4 copy paper, just to add a little bit of depth to make it cut through properly. And our cutting pad D. And we're going to wind that through. Now make sure that when you're winding it through that it doesn't need any excess force to wind it through. It should be easy. As you're going over the die, it's a good idea to go slowly. That way it'll cut out nicely, and it's, especially if you're using Shrinky Dinks. And if it is at all difficult, reverse your pad stack and make sure that you've got the right combinations and not too many shims. Okay, so let's cut out our little car. Now it is still well stuck into the Shrinky Dink because it is the sort of plastic it is, it sort of moulds to it. So what you actually need to do, let's grab our cutting mat, and you actually need to just start with your scissors, just start to cut into where those lines are, ever so slowly. And it's very easy to cut because it's actually already cut. I'm just helping to ease it out a little bit. That's popping out quite nicely around the side there, around the roof. I found that because it's a more intricate die, that it doesn't cut out, 100% by itself, unlike the tags or something like that. But it still works quite well. So there's our car, much easier than if we had to cut it out ourselves. And then I'm just going to grab my knife, and I'm just going to help pop out the windows because we wanted them to show through. So I'm just going to run my knife down the sides. That's already starting to pop out. So you can just carefully, because you don't want to tear it, because it can sort of tear and fracture where you don't want it to. So just carefully ease it out. There's a little piece there in the corner, just cut it out. Okay, I'm going to do that to all of our windows, and then we're going to ink it. Now I've cut out the windows of the car, and it's ready to be inked. So we're going to do this on the rough side. So I put the smooth side down, and I'm going to use lipstick red fluid chalk and a sponge that I've just cut into a wedge, and I'm going to sponge all over. Now I haven't cut out the headlights part of it because I'm going to ink those up afterwards. And even though the lines aren't cut through on the actual car, they've made it quite a nice impression, and they'll show through on the finished product. Okay, that looks nice and red. We'll just give that a few minutes to dry, and while we're doing that, I've got one already. I've got a green one that I've already cut, so I'm going to show you how to shrink that one. So when I'm shrinking, I always have a board to protect my table, and I use a muffin pan. It's easiest to use a muffin pan because that way you've got some control, it doesn't blow everywhere. And I always have my tweezers as well, so I can hold it because it is quite hot. So I'm just going to sit that in the muffin pan, get my heat tool, and I'm going to heat. The most important thing is that you keep a heat on it, don't take it off, and it will all curl up, but that's normal. Okay. And once it's reached the right size, it won't shrink anymore. Okay, then we need an acrylic block. And I'm just going to tip it out onto my board, and I'm just going to push the acrylic block on top, just to flatten it. Okay, so there is our little green car. And we'll do the red one as well. So because the ink may not be quite dry, it may buckle in strange ways, but it will still work out fine. You just have to make sure you keep the heat on it. Okay, so it's shrunk to where we want it. Just tip that out. Grab my block. Just sit that on top. And if for some reason you don't get your block to it in time, you can put it back in and you can heat it again, and it will go soft and you can remold it again. So it's really good if you want to create something that's 3D. Okay, now we're going to create our base card. So we're just going to use a piece of A4 white card, and I'm going to fold it in half. So A5 white card, not A4. Score it with our bone scorer, make it nice and flat. Then what I'm going to use, this is our jumbo Rollagraph, and we have our wheel. Our wheel comes out like so, and this is the ink pad, so you can change the colour of your ink pad. There's quite a few different colours available. And our wheel, let's pop that back into place. We also have, this is a jumbo, this is the regular size one, so it's about half the size, and there's different designs in each one. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use my little ruler, so this is really good for doing roller graphs. I'm just going to line that along, so I'm going to get a nice straight edge. Take the cover off my roller graph and push the ink pad up to meet it. Then I'm just going to run that around to get it all nice and inky. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then you always start off your page, making sure your houses are going to go up the right way. So always start off the page, up against your guide, and roll it across. You need to put even pressure all across the page so you don't miss any bits. And there it is, there's our little cityscape. Okay, so to colour our card, I'm going to use our Aquacolor crayons. This is the 48 pack. So you can get them in a pack of 24 or a pack of 12, and they are all paint. So you can use them to colour in and then add water to, or you can take the brush to the crayons. So this is, they're in a slightly different tin now because they've updated their tin, but they work exactly the same. And you need a water brush to use with this. I always use a medium water brush when I'm colouring in most things. I find that works best. And it's got a tube that you fill up with water and a little brush on the end. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got a piece of scrap paper here as well, so I can wipe my brush on there to clean any of the colours off. And I'm just going to start with a brown. I'm just going to colour some of the buildings in a brown colour. It's nice and quick and easy, and a little bit of paint goes quite a way, so you can get nice shading with them as well. Okay, I'm just doing some of the buildings brown, and the ink that was in the Rollagraph is Ancient Page, so that is a permanent ink, so that's why it's not running when I'm using my water brush on it. You can't use something that's not permanent because otherwise it will run. Okay, when I want to change colour, I'm just going to wipe it backwards and forward on my scrap piece until it goes clear, and then I'm ready to change colour. So then I might go and do a yellow, just so you can see that I haven't got any brown left on there. Okay, so we'll do a yellow. So you can see that's not brown at all because we've wiped it all off, even though the end of my pen may be slightly discoloured. And I'm going to go through colouring in all my buildings. And my background I'm going to use blue, and the foreground I'm going to do in a grey road colour and a green, like on the sample. So I'll just go and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've finished colouring in my card. It does look slightly different from the other one because basically every card's going to be different that you're going to make. Okay, so now I'm going to finish my little cards. So what I need to do, these ones I've already got, I need to add the wheels. So the wheels I've done with our single hole punch and just some black card. And I'm just going to punch out 3 little wheels out of there. And I'm going to stick them on with glossy accents. And I've made the textured side out, but it's entirely up to you what you want to do. You may find it easier to use a pair of tweezers to pick them up. It's whatever works easiest for you. You don't want too much glossy accents either, because otherwise it'll show through. And depending on how dark you've coloured in your cars, it will show through a little bit anyway until it dries. Okay, so there's our little car with his wheels, and then all you need to do is stick them onto your card where you want to, and stick them on with glossy accents. So you just want to put a little bit of glossy accents through the middle. Then I'm going to get my Vivid ink. Because this is all nice and dry now, I can use Vivid on it, which is a water-based ink, and I'm going to use the Specially For You stamp from one of our greeting sets. I'll just turn it around the right way so I can stamp it up in the corner. And there you go, there's the finished card. Thanks for watching my video today, I really appreciate your time. If you have any questions for me, you can post them at the bottom of the video. Or you can contact me at my blog, www.danielleskaszazz.blogspot.com. If you have any questions for Kaszazz or you'd like to be put in touch with a local consultant, you can contact them on 1800 649 191, or you can contact them via the website, www.kaszazz.com, and you can be put in touch with a local consultant and see all the great products on the website as well. Thank you very much for your time.